Alrighty. Welcome to the Fall River Conservation Commission, being held at public hearing on Monday, March 2nd, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. in the first floor hearing room, One Government Center, Fall River, Mass. In order to the following petitions. First, pursuant to the open meeting laws, any person may make an audio or video recording of the public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present are deemed, acknowledged, and permissible.
Roll call, Mr. Chairman.
Roll call.
Andrew Liss.
John Brandt.
James Hornsby.
Bill Roth is the planning director, and also recording secretary is Patty Aguiar, and with us with Fall River Government Access TV is Alex Mello.
All right. First on the agenda is a notice of intent. ANRAD NOI file number is SC 024-743. Applicant Mark Shea, owner Joan St. Orange. Project is Terry Marie Way, Assessors Map T-25-65, filed by Golsky's Engineering on behalf of owner applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This, I recommend this be continued to the next month. We hired our consultant to review the line, and he could not start until the beginning of this month. So I should be able to, we will have the, our consultants, the applicant has paid the consulting fee, and we'll be getting to it at the beginning. You know, should be starting any time now, so we'll be able to certify the line at the next meeting. So I recommend to continuing it to the April, continue to a date certain. Sorry, get the calendar. Continue it to the April 6th meeting.
Okay. So we're going to have a motion to
So moved.
continue this to the April 6th meeting?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Next on the agenda, a notice of intent, NOI file number SC-024-744. Owner applicant is DNS Marine. Project locations 1338 Duval Street, Assessors Map S-21-9, filed by Mount Hope Engineering on behalf of owner applicant to maintain piles, a solid fill, wharf concrete block wall, sheet pile bulkhead, and overflowed and filled tidewaters of Taunton River.
Mr. Chairman, the applicant's engineer sent us an email requesting a continuance to the next meeting. I guess they had to revise some plans for DEP, and so they request a continuance to the April 6th meeting.
Okay. So I have a motion to table to the 6th?
I'll make
Okay.
it.
All right, table that to the 6th.
So a second and then vote.
Vote?
Aye.
All right, notice of intent is NOI file number SE-24-745. Owner applicant is Ken Pacheco, City of Fall River Public Schools. Project is 151 Amity Street, Assessors Map C-14-1, filed by Lucas Environmental LLC on behalf of owner applicant to redevelop 0.9 acre portion of 17.6 acre parcel to construct a secondary access road, parking, sidewalks, and drainage improvements, including infiltration basin at the Henry Lord Community School. Work is proposed in bordering vegetated wetland area and 100-foot buffer zone.
Upside down.
Are we upside down? That's problematic.
Lost mine on the way over.
Members of the commission, Carlos Smithy with Civil and Environmental Consultants for the applicant, and also with me today is J.R. Fry, city engineer for the city of Fall River. We were in front of you last month presenting this project for initial consideration. Since then, we've since received a DEP file number. I believe it was fairly straightforward. Just to recap, the site has frontage on Mariano Bishop and Amity Street to the rear. I'll try and speak up. Just
That's okay, that's why I came close. I wanted to
I wanted to hear you, and I realized you're handicapped, so here I am.
Well, I'll try and enunciate and speak.
That's
very
okay, you need to
clearly.
talk to them, because they may not hear you.
Okay.
I'm right in your lap.
Very good. So again, access for the school, it's the Henry Lawrence School. The main access is on Amity Street. There's also frontage for the school on Laurel Street and frontage along the sports fields on Mariano Bishop. And the project in front of you is to construct a new through road along the edge of the fenced-in sports field here that will alleviate traffic issues primarily for the school access circulation for buses in order to exit onto Mariano Bishop Boulevard. So as we presented at the last hearing, we're in front of you today because there is a wetland located along Mariano Bishop Boulevard here. So the work is proposed within the 100-foot buffer, and there's a small impact to the wetlands here at the crossing. Mitigation is proposed at a 2-to-1 ratio, I believe it is, for the impact to the wetlands here, which is consists of new wetlands planting and habitat that's going to recreate the impacted area. From a standpoint, it's fairly clear the stormwater management design was done in accordance with stormwater management regulations. We're maintaining the peak runoff rates that we're seeing today. There's going to be additional infiltration basins placed at the southerly end of the site, as well as one at the northerly end of the site. The runoff is going to be controlled via curb inlets that allow sheet flow into both of the basins. And there'll be one drainage inlet located essentially mid-block here that will also accept runoff into the infiltration basins. This one will recharge water with an overflow of surface runoff going to the south towards the existing wetland as it does today. And the northerly basin will connect to an existing drainage pipe that actually runs beneath this localized depression today. So we're going to reutilize the existing drainage infrastructure that's already out at the site. And again, we're matching peak rates. We're increasing the water quality treatment through these additional benefits of these stormwater basins. And we're improving circulation with the paved access aisle that will provide egress on Mariano Bishop with additional parking for some events for the sports field activities that allow for additional parking today, whereas cars were parking previously on just the grassed areas there, which didn't allow for any sort of oils or anything from the cars to be able to captured and treated prior to discharge to the downstream receiving waters. To that point, I'll turn it over with any additional questions that you may have for the engineer.
I support it. Folks were here last month, and the parking, I've been by there several times.
Yep.
And the parking is strange. If you live there, it looks like there's really no place to park on the street a lot of the time.
On Amity Street, right?
Right, going down to Henry Lord. And I'm wondering if they've made any progress in dealing with that in a month.
So the parking along the frontage here is something that wasn't necessarily part of the scope of the Conservation Commission package that we have in
No,
front
but
of
they
you.
were here, and that's why I
Right.
asked.
So we did speak to the city engineer about the project.
So with that situation, the appropriate venue for them to address their concerns and for any mitigation with respect to parking would be for them to go to the school board and to approach the school department
Right.
with the option of utilizing more of that parking during the day and having that access out to Mariano Bishop Boulevard open on a more routine basis than what they were originally anticipating.
Okay.
But that would be the approach
So
that
there's
would be
really
appropriate.
nothing in this project that can affect it one way or the other.
Not really, no.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have no questions
No, I would recommend, if you so choose to approve it, that you recommend approval subject to condition that they install silt fence prior to and during construction, that the project be required to go through site plan review for final layout and approval and detailed review of the stormwater management to make sure that it complies. The what's it called? The mitigation area needs a minimum of a 2-year establishment period, and that they need to, what's the common condition? They need to provide a
Long-term maintenance.
a
plan.
long-term maintenance and review, at the 2-year point bring back that to the commission, and and then that can be determined if additional plantings, if they haven't taken, then they need to be replanted. So they need to come back within 2 years, after the 2-year establishment period
Okay.
for that. So those are the recommended conditions that I have.
Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to, with conditions of silk fencing during and before construction, the project site plan review with approval, stormwater management application?
That's part of site plan review.
Okay. Then,
And the two, as I stated, the 2-year,
The area-
the 2-year review of
Long-term maintenance.
the 2-year review of the mitigation area needs to come back, and then
Yeah, just certified with the plantings.
yeah, the certification and review in 2 years about the mitigation plantings.
I'll make that motion.
I didn't hear. Sir, more?
huh?
Do I need to, I can repeat it?
No, I heard you.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's what I said what he said.
I heard you too.
Oh, okay, all right, so you second?
Was the motion moved? Second?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
what I didn't hear.
Oh, okay. Can we have a vote? Okay.
Aye.
passes. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. Next is a notice of intent, NOI file number SC-24-746. Owner Robert Carrig,
Carrick.
89 Globe Mills LLC. Applicant is Christopher Starr. Carreri Development. Project location is 89 Globe Mills Ave. Assessors map is H-20-10 and H-19-5. Filed by the development on behalf of owner 89 Globe Mills LLC to convert the existing mill building into apartments with associated site work including parking upgrade, drainage, utilities, landscape, related site improvements. Portion of the site work are located within the 100-foot buffer bordering vegetated wetlands.
Good timing. Al Trachemus from SciTech Engineering, representing the applicant.
Al, if you
Cara-
could speak up.
Okay, representing the applicant, Cara Development, this evening. Is it okay to go up and point, or are
Yeah.
you okay with a laser point? I got a laser pointer
Laser's
just in
fine.
case. However, what I would like to do is just circulate some photos, because the existing conditions look a lot worse than what the plan shows. Okay, this is the mill that's on the south side of Globe Mills Ave. The Cuss Middle School is across the street.
Yeah.
The wetlands area is along the westerly portion of the property. And it just borders this corner, so the 100-foot buffer zone takes us out into this area. Based on, and the topography is also such that this is actually the higher
Sorry.
point of the property.
That's
And
nice.
then grade-wise, everything grades down to the west. Based on a discussion we had in the office with Bill, he suggested one of the things that we may want to do here is pull out the invasive species, pull out the trash, pull out the debris that's in here, and that's what we're proposing to do. We gave Bill a narrative as far as how that's going to be done. Those items that we can pull out by hand will be pulled out by hand. but as you can see that the existing pavement is pretty close to the wetlands, so any of those bigger objects that we could get an extender hoe in or whatever and pull those out that can't be lifted, we will do that. And then any depressions that would be made in here would be loamed, and then we would be putting in the earth seed mix for restoring that area. It's interesting that this pond area here is isolated. It appears that it was intended for the use of the mill. There is a culvert in this one location here, however, it's not a culvert that provides any water to the pond. It appears more that it was a culvert from which the mill took water out of the pond. So what we're proposing to do is just to remove that culvert in its entirety and revegetate that area. You see from the photographs that there's a lot of scrub, a lot of vines, a lot of my, I'd say, favorite briars when you're walking through these things. We're proposing to remove all those, however, all the trees will be left alone. There are some trees that you'll see in the photo that have fallen over the years, and we'll take those out of there. And if you just look at this one corner here, if you look at the photos, you'll see a blue steel framed building right in this corner here. That is going to get removed. It's rather ugly, unsightly. That is going to get removed from the property. And then what we will be doing in this area will be providing additional landscaping throughout the project. Overall, there'll be more green space than one currently exists. Where we can, we're leaving the existing trees. Even though this is out of the buffer zone area, there's one in the corner here that we're proposing to remove. That's kind of listing, so we want that one out. And then there are some trees right along the parking area that will need to come out as well. And we're also proposing the ones that are right adjacent to the building. The building's going to be rebuilt. It goes up about 4 stories, brick. They're going to be cleaning the brick. They're going to be replacing windows. And those trees are definitely going to block the lifts from getting in and access to that. In addition to the notice of intent, we'll also be filing with site plan review. And at that time, we'll be providing a lighting plan as well. We do show light fixtures on here, the perimeter area lights, but we'll also be providing the light intensity plan and the landscaping plan as far as that goes. However, what we're proposing within the buffer zone area is pretty much what you see here now. There'll be some ornamental plantings in the landscape area, but that'll be under Bill's review. Overall, the existing utilities all come off of Globe Mills Ave. There's an existing main gas line that comes into the building here. The main electric feed is in the rear. There is also a looping section of hydrants around the building, so they do have fire suppression through a multiple number of hydrants located around the building. But that's, in a nutshell, that's what we're proposing to do. It will be an improvement to the wetlands area where we're going to be removing the invasive species, removing the trash. This is a situation where we're not going to be adding or depriving the wetlands area of any runoff. This is a relatively flat area here, and as I mentioned before, the topography shows that everything slopes away from the bank of the wetlands, which is pretty much this dark green line right along here where the existing fence is. So from a wetland standpoint, we're staying away from it. We're going to remove the invasives, and we're going to be providing more green in the buffer zone. With that, I would entertain any questions that the commission would have.
I was out looking at the property, and it's in sad shape, so what you're gonna do is a win-win. I mean, just the area is just overgrown, and the building's
Oh, yes.
an eyesore, and yep. I don't see any questions.
Sounds good.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, Betty?
always, but nevertheless, again, thank you. I live south of Rock Street, and I've been down in that area many times, and we have parishioners in my church who live near there. So I'm delighted with the cleanup, and a couple, you mentioned the area of the green areas. Those will be accessible to people who live there?
Who live in the project area, live in the development, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good,
yeah, yes.
good. And what about neighbors?
I don't know if that's going, I mean, the green areas here are perimeter landscape areas.
Yeah, see, I couldn't, yeah.
They're really not neighborhood amenities.
They're not places that I could, if I lived there, I could go walk my dog or sit down and enjoy the view. Well, the view is quite nice there if you don't look at what's existing now.
The view, you'll have a view of the wetlands here. The real view is, well, it depends. If it's a conservation commission, the real view is looking at the wetlands area.
Yep.
When I've been down there and looking at it, I look over the Taunton River and say, the second or third floor apartment on that side would look fantastic. But this is one of those where, as far as calling, putting into an order of conditions and a neighborhood access, I don't think that would fly. But I don't, they're not the type of people that are going to be out there policing folks, that if somebody's walking through the property, I don't see where they're going to object to that.
Right, and the other thing you haven't talked about, there are lots of, unfortunately, there probably is more wildlife there now than there was previously, because a number of other areas have been built, recently been built on, and I know you have deer there. I saw one. I do know what a deer looks like, and there were some birds I identified, but that's irrelevant. But just keep your eye out. And I wish you well.
Yeah. Just to let you know, they're removing a tremendous amount of asphalt and taking a site that's extremely impervious. They're redeveloping a mill site, taking an unsightly metal building down.
Yep.
What's within the buffer zone, one of the things in meeting with them is I requested that they clean up the trash, the bittersweet, and that sort of thing. They submitted a two-page memo dated February 28th on how they're planning on doing that. My recommendation would be to recommend approval for this project. Conditions, and Patty can write them down and you can just say so moved if you want.
Okay.
Would be to silt fence prior to and during construction. The project should be required site plan review. It triggers it anyway, but we put it in the order. The clearing and removal of non-native vegetation and replanting shall be in accordance with their submitted plan. And that a two-year review and maintenance schedule be submitted, just the same condition that we had for the last one, that be submitted and reviewed within 2 years to make sure that the invasives are gone and that the plantings, and this time it's just the seed mix has taken and established. If not, it needs to be reestablished and done. That's my recommendation for the conditions of approval.
So we would not be able to get a certificate of compliance for 2 years?
Correct.
Could we have a motion?
I'll make a motion on that.
Second.
Second. Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda is a request for determination of accessibility. RDA file number is RDA 168. Applicant is Christian R. Jacobs, Division of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance. Project location is 777 Ellsbury Street, BCC.
Oh, yeah.
Assessors map U-22-1, filed by Niche Engineering on behalf of the Division of Capital Asset Management and Maintenance to install an electrical conduit into Building B on BCC campus within the 100-foot buffer zone. In addition to the portion of the contractor's layout area is within the 100-foot buffer zone. Erosion control consisting of silk fence, wattles have been installed during construction activities and will be removed once the work has been completed.
You did place the ad.
No, I wasn't aware that we did the ad. The only thing that was said to me was about the tax, filing, and I said that it was.
I'm sorry, sir, could you speak up a little more?
So what do? You didn't advertise it in the Herald News.
No, okay, this is a state project, the state's owned, property, and typically they're not applicable to local, bylaws, but.
We don't have a local bylaw. This is just the state requirement for the RDAs.
I've never filed a RDA.
Does an ad have to
For
for
an
an
ad,
RDA?
for an RDA.
There's things upstairs for an RDA, what's that to say, and then for the, they don't have to notify your butters, but I have the sheets upstairs for the RDA. Because it is state, right?
We are doing this on a number of projects for community colleges around the state.
You need to speak up. One of the people cannot hear
Yeah,
you.
well, I did manage to do
Yeah.
that. but-
This is one of 8 projects that we're doing statewide, where we're doing some mechanical and electrical upgrades for resiliency and so forth. And this is my 4th college project that we filed an RDA, and none of the other ones we filed an ad or an ad.
Go ahead then.
What's your name?
So for the record, my name is William Marr. I'm a professional engineer and a senior project manager at Niche Engineering. So what we have filed before you, as I just mentioned a couple seconds ago, Bristol Community College is undergoing some electrical and mechanical upgrades on the campus. Part of those upgrades include new steam lines, steam manholes, and for resiliency for electrical, we're installing generators at all of the buildings, backup generators. Building B, over by the pond here, we ran into an issue regarding the electrical duct bank and conduit coming into the building, where there was some interference with some other utilities. What we're proposing is just to shift that work beyond the building, but some of it is within the 100-foot buffer zone for
I'm pretty good at reading plans, and well, there's so much information on this poster that I didn't see the 100-foot border vegetated wetland identified on the plan.
It was on a CAD layer that apparently didn't plot when we.
Okay, so it's not on the plan.
Correct, but the 100-foot buffer
Right.
comes in this direction, here.
Okay.
To the pond. So we have.
So it's a part of your layer over area and a little bit of your trenching.
Correct.
Do you have a Sharpie that you could show the approximate line?
Sure, let me get a,
Color.
Yeah, I was out there, yeah, and it's what we used to call Lake Hudnall. And, I mean, I couldn't find,
Yeah.
I love walking down.
it's obvious
Yeah.
when you're standing there what
Right.
you're doing, but
I'm hoping that you can see this.
Could you use the orange one? Maybe that one.
it's obvious what you're, there we go.
Okay. That's what I assumed it was, 100 feet from basically the edge of the pond,
Correct.
this
Right.
way. Okay.
Correct. My apologies. So, just a small portion of this, trenching is within the 100-foot buffer zone, to the pond. And then the contractor's laydown area is within the 100-foot buffer zone. What they do have is they have a series of erosion controls around the fencing, and then they've also have installed some concrete barriers across here in front of the piles, the stockpiles of material that they have. They've also, in this area, have not only added another row of silk fence, they've added a second row of silk fence just to protect that area there.
Yeah. Now, what's the laydown area going to be? Is it soil or is it?
It's
is it
soil and equipment.
and equipment, okay.
Piping,
Right.
concrete pads for their,
Okay.
for the units, so forth. And they also do have some of the soil is over in this area right here, but they do have, they've kind of removed some of the soil, pulled it back and put in about a 10-foot swath of mulch and so forth, just to prevent anything from washing down there that can kind of be absorbed by what we thought was going to be snow this year, but it ends up being either rain or sunshine. So the work is expected to continue into the springtime, and then everything will be removed and all will be revegetated to its existing current conditions. We're not increasing any impervious area. There's no proposed additional walkways, driveways, things of that nature. And other than that, that's all that I have.
We already had silk fencing and all that up, so.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm recommending, obviously it's a very basic, simple project, they've done their thing. Recommend a negative, negative determination, and that the conditions, that the silt fence needs to be installed, prior to commencing construction activities and per the plans. And number 3, that a revised plan with the 100-foot border vegetated wetland with a 100-foot buffer be submitted to the department to place on file.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I electronically send that, or do you want?
You can electronically, and we just need 1 paper copy.
Okay. I will take care of that tomorrow.
So that would be my recommendation.
What was your second
A
thing?
negative determination, silt fence, this erosion control measures be, the erosion control measures per identified on the plan be installed prior to commencing construction, and that a revised plan be submitted, the site and utility plan showing the, identifying the 100-foot buffer. Turn the CAD layer on.
So I say tomorrow. So
I couldn't find it. I'm like, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Well, I'm looking at my computer screen, and I can see it there, and I hit, plots, and
Yep.
then print everything out. And
Yeah.
I must have just put it on there, so I do
Yep.
apologize to the commission.
No
for
problem.
Okay, can I have a motion for a negative determination?
So moved.
To maintain silk fencing while the construction's going on. 3, a revised site plan with the 100-foot vegetation wetland shown.
Mhm.
You have a second?
So
already did.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
My
Okay.
apologies, just
Vote.
off for breath, and I moved it, so.
Vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, passes, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's quite a mess out there at Bristol College, but they're working on it.
Alrighty, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 3rd meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Vote?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Public input, seeing none, we go. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion again.
Second?
Alrighty.
See you next month.
All right, kids, thank you.
See you next month.